please do forgive any technical difficulties that we're having. I am totally just figuring this out myself. So we had our number 233. We represented it with golden bead material. And so we can then use that to show if we wanted to add, let's say the number 16 to that. I would just represent my number 16 right below, just like I was working on the mat with my actual units and bead bars. So here's the number 16. It has 6 units. I'm lining them up under my units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Can you guys see that? And 1 10, 1 quick 10. Do I need any hundreds in the number 16? No. Then I'm going to count them all together. I've got 6 units and 3 more units. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's going to make sure I have 9 units. That's going to show me 9 units altogether. My number of 10s, I know I've got 3 here, so 1 more, 3 and 4. And my 200s, I'm not putting any more hundreds, so I still have 200s. Okay, so the number in total, 233 plus, remember this was 16, okay, 233 plus 16 equals 249. So that's just using quick bead bars, golden beads and golden bead bars to represent our problems. That's a tool that you might be more familiar with. And some of our first graders have also started using the stamp game, which is also pretty easy to set up in just the same way. On your paper, if I'm going to use a paper version of the stamp game, I really like to do it in color. You don't have to, but if you can, I've got green for my units and my thousands if we get that far, and a blue marker for my tens, and it's I don't have a red marker, so I'm using pink, but it's pretty similar. So I really like to use color. You don't have to, but if you're not using color, you're just going to want to mark your stamp game when you draw them. So I'll show you a quick representation of the stamp game, and then that is going to be the tools that you'll probably use when you go forward and you're figuring out some of these other works that you have in your homework packet. So I'm just going to set up my paper here. And I'm just drawing a line. I'm going to put stamp game on this side so I can see that. It's my stamp game. There it is. It's going to be on this side of my paper, and this is just my reference. So we'll start just the same way we did with just representing some numbers. So let's see, I'll do the number 22 with stamps, and the number 47 with stamps. We'll do 147 with our stamps. Okay, so I'm going to do the number 22 and the number 147. So the difference here is with our stamps, they're all the same shape, but we use different colors to represent different numbers, and that's it. Let's just do it. So if I'm going to represent the number 22, oh, this is all backwards for me. If I'm going to do the number 22, I will use 2 unit stamps. So that's a green square and a green square for my unit stamps. Can you guys see? Okay. Okay. 22. And then how many 10s are in that? Also 2 10s, 10, 20, right? So there are my blue squares and my green stamps to represent the number 22. Now, if you're doing it with just your pencil, which is fine, and anything works, crayon, marker, anything that you can make yourself a little colored dot or blob or square. Whoa. All right, there's my ceiling. So if I'm doing it with just my regular pencil, you'll see I'm going to draw the same stamps, but I am going to just mark them with the unit that they have. So I'm going to put it underneath So you can see that it's the same setup, okay? But so I don't get confused, I'm going to have to, since I don't have color, I'm going to mark these are units. They're a little number 1 in there. Oh, you can't see it. And a little number 10. Hang on a sec. Maybe I need to make them just look, I'll blow it up for you. We'll do an enlargement. How's that? If you have the number 22 and your units, you've got 2 units and 2 10s underneath there, okay? And so I just marked them with 1s and 10s because I'm not using color if I have a regular pencil. For 147, remember once we move into our hundreds place, we've got red. So I can do 100. Okay, it's up to you, color, don't color, but I've got 100. I've got 4 10s this time. Boom, boom. I like to put mine in pairs. Boom, boom. 4 10s. And then I will do 7 units. It's a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And so that is me drawing out my stamp game. Okay. If I was going to represent then a problem with stamp game, which some of you guys are working on, 1 digit, 2 digit, hopefully some 2 digit addition and subtraction while you're on break. Let's just take my, let's do a challenge one. Let's do 482 plus 207. One with a 0 in it. Okay. So if this was the problem that you were given, okay, I'm just going to make my stamp game numbers kind of close to them on this side. And I'm going to use my colors. So I'll show you each step of that, but I'm not going to hold it up because drawing up in the air is really difficult. 480 is how many 10s? 8 10s. And 2 units. That one's a little easier. Okay, so this is just my top number. This is 482, just my top number. Right there. You see it? 400s, 8 10s, 2 units. Okay. And then when I create, just like you're doing with the stamp game, when I create my bottom number, I'm going to make sure to line up my units, line up my 10s, just like it's written in my problem. I'm going to represent that with my stamps. So I'm just going to start in my units to make sure that I've got those lined up. And I will show you after I do the units. 7, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so just starting with my units, I lined, this is this number, 207. So I just started with my units, 7 units, and I lined them up right under my 2 units from my top number. Okay, but I am working just on 207. Now that 0 in there, am I going to have any blue 10s? I'm going to leave that blank, just like it would be on my rug. And I'm going to line up my hundreds in my hundreds spot. And I've got 2 of them in this number 207. Okay, it's my whole number that I've represented, my whole stamp game number. So you can pretend like you're moving these around on the rug, just like you would, where these are manipulatives. If you don't have manipulatives at home, then you can just do this on paper and move these around. So I would pretend like I was pushing up my units first, okay? Pushing the units up and then counting them down. So I'm going to pretend I'm bringing them to the bottom under the equals line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I knew there were 7 already. 8, 9, okay? 2 units and 7 units are 9 units, okay? I've got nothing to push up here, so I know that my 10s are going to stay the same. You can count them to check if you want, but I know I put 8 and I didn't change it, so I know there's going to be 8. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Good. Anything plus 0 stays the same because 0 means no change. Then I would pretend with my hundreds like I was pushing those hundreds up together and then drawing them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 hundreds, okay, all together. That means my problem, my original problem, so this is my scrap paper, my original problem, 482 plus 207 equals 689. And I'm writing that on the equals, under the equals line, units under the units, tens under the tens, hundreds under the hundreds. So those are just, that's the first page. It's just tools for you to use, okay? 10 frame, number bond, golden beads, and stamp game as you go through the rest of your packet. Okay, as we go through, I'm just going to hold up the page. That way, if you're skipping back and forth through the video or you don't need directions for a page, you can skip it. And I'm going to go pretty quickly because you can pause if you need to. So this is the next page in your packet. It is a 100 chart. It is just like the one in our classroom. It is just like our 120 board. You guys can write the numbers in order. Make sure every couple of lines you're checking to make sure that your patterns that you are expecting are showing up. So that way we know we didn't skip a number. So as you go through, we remember, look at some of these ones that are already filled in for you here. This line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to be the number 7. As we come down here, we see there's already a 27, a 37, a 57, a 67. If you had a number in that line that didn't end in 7, that would be a clue that you need to back up and check your work. So just make sure you're doing it carefully, but this is something that you guys can all do. It's just a 100 chart. This is the next page. It says page 5. These are just adding objects. So I really like to start with the larger group and figure out what it is. If you're skip counting, sometimes we can use skip counting to count a large group because you notice they're all arranged in equal rows and lines. So there's that, but really it's just counting up all the objects together. So in this one, I'll show you a couple ways to do this one. You can either just count all the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Keep counting, go across the plus because we're putting together, keep counting. I said 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The number is 19 and I'm going to write it in the box, okay? I was simply just counting all the objects, not going back to 1, counting them as one large group. That's adding. If you are skip counting, you might try to do some of your skip counting. So I can see that there's 3 in each line. So I could say 3, 6, 9, and if I get stuck, I can still go back to regular counting. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. No matter how we count, we get the same number because there are 19 tomatoes, delicious tomatoes. So it's just counting objects on this page. On the back of that page, the directions for this page are to measure and then sort them, this is important, from shortest to longest. So the shortest object you're going to label in this box underneath number 1. The next shortest object, I'll put this back here so we don't have any see-through. The next shortest object you're going to label with a number 2, and the next shortest, and then the longest object, because there's only 3 things in that set, is going to get a number 3. It's only wants you to look at one line at a time. So I'm going to compare these top 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to do the next 3, 1, 2, 3, decide, and the last 3, 1, 2, 3, decide. The only thing that's probably difficult about this one is some of them are close in size. So you can use anything to compare the sizes. If you have a ruler, awesome. I think I do. Hang on one second. Okay, I don't actually have a ruler that's convenient for me right this second, but it's kind of good because I want to show you, I think we've all worked with using a ruler, but I want to show you how you can use a different object to also compare lengths. So I'm just going to use, I'm going to use a piece of scrap paper. So I want to use a piece of scrap paper that I know is relatively straight, not a crooked piece of scrap paper. So let me grab, I've got one right here in front of me. I'm just kind of folding it up to make it stiffer so you guys can see. Okay, but I'm just going to use, there's nothing, you can see there's no real lines on it, there's no measurement. But if I hold it up, okay, I'm just going to look at this top row. And so I think this guy, he looks longer. He looks like he's the longest. But I'm a little bit worried about this candy and this carrot. I feel like, I think the carrot's longer. That's my prediction. But there's these twists on the end of the candy, and I just want to make sure. So I'm going to hold up so that one end of my paper goes all the way to the very end of my candy and goes across my candy. Not here, I'm going to color the end of my paper actually so you guys can see it. I can see it here, but I can tell it's not showing up on the video. So there, I made it pink. Can you guys see that a little bit? Oh, see, now right there, if the end is over here, am I really measuring my candy? No, I'm measuring the space. So I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to put it right at the edge of my candy. Okay? And then I'm going to mark where the candy is on the other side. And now I can see I have a measurement from the end to where I marked of just how long the candy is. Then I can hold it up to my carrot and see if the carrot is longer or shorter. So when I hold that up to my carrot, again, it doesn't make any sense if I put it way over here. I've got to line the very edge up with the very edge. And I can see that my carrot is longer than my candy. So the shortest one in the whole row was that little short candy. So that is the number 1 then. He's the shortest. He's winning. Then there was my carrot. It was just a little longer than my candy. So I'm going to put a number 2. And guess what? My snake, I can already see. If I wanted to, I could compare. Say, oh, my carrot is this long, right? I can mark it. And I can compare and see, oh yeah, that little head, that little snake, I've got one end lined up with his tail, and one end, the snake's head goes way past my carrot mark, so he must be the longest, and I'll put a number 3. You guys use that same technique to compare the umbrella, nail, and hammer, and the ruler, pencil, and key. Okay? Remember, you're doing the sizes that are on here, not necessarily how long they might be in real life. They don't want us to guess. They want you to measure. ready for page 7. It says 7 at the bottom, and we're actually pretty close to the end of this week's packet. So you should be feeling pretty good about your work so far. This one is a geometry packet. We're working with some shapes. First one says trace the square, and they've got some dots here for you. You guys can trace. We trace the square. The important thing to remember about a square is that it has 4 sides. Its sides are all straight, not curvy, and they should all be the same length. So you trace the square, that's the first direction. The second direction says draw 2 larger and 1 smaller square. So you're going to draw 2 larger and 1 smaller. All together, you're going to draw 3 squares in this space here. Okay, make sure you pay attention. 2 larger, 1 smaller than this one. Okay, that first one you made. That's the top of the page. The bottom of the page says find 3 squares and color them. Would it be okay to circle them? Sure. Would it be okay to shade them all in red? Use your regular pencil? Sure. You're just going to find 3 squares and color them. Don't let them trick you with a rectangle, though. Remember what we said about what makes a square. On the back of your geometry page with the squares is this page here, okay, right there, and I will tell you it has a ELA assignment at the top of the page, okay, and ELA means English Language Arts, so we'll be talking about that, and at the bottom of the page it has a social studies. We will be talking about that as well. Let's just start with that, but we're going to talk about them separately, okay? So here's your ELA. It only goes down to here, okay? The top direction says, you can read along with me, read the passage and answer questions. So let's read together. I got my finger out. It's my tracking finger. I'm going to start right here. On the first word, it's the, okay? So I'm going to read the title. It says, The Brown Cow in the Tower. Let's read that again smoothly. The brown cow in the tower. Coming down to the first line. There is a brown cow in the tower. How did the cow get in the tower? The town clown locked her there. The clown wanted the cow to plow, but the brown cow didn't want to plow. Now the clown's cow is in the tower. The citizens of the town can vote. They can help the cow get down. They have power in the town. The clown must let the cow down. The brown cow can come down from the tower. Now the clown must plow. The brown cow sees the clown plow. Wow, the clown sure can plow. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, the clown can sure plow. It's important to get our words right. Wow, there's a lot going on in that story. Let's take it back to the top and just think about a couple of those lines. The brown cow in the tower. There is a brown cow in the tower. I'm picturing in my mind right now a tower like Rapunzel's tower, but at the very top of it is a brown cow. How did the cow get in the tower? See that question mark at the end? I was asking myself the same thing. The town clown locked her there. Wow, this is a little town, kind of a little village with a tower in it, and they have a clown that lives there. And I guess he's in charge of plowing and taking care of this cow. The clown wanted the cow to plow, but the brown cow didn't want to plow. So it's kind of like a punishment, a consequence that he locked her in that tower. Now the clown's cow is in the tower. The citizens, that means people who live there, the citizens of the town, the people who live in the town, can vote, just like we do to make decisions in our classroom sometimes. They can help the cow get down. They have power in the town. The clown must let the cow down. Do we know how the people voted? Yeah, they said that he better let her out. The brown cow can come down from the tower. Now the clown has to do the plowing. The brown cow sees the clown plow. Wow, the clown sure can plow, so I guess he's doing a good job. So kind of a happy ending there. It asks you underneath, so we've read it together, we've thought about it, we've pictured the story in our minds. I actually pictured a clown plowing, which means, pushing a machine to dig some holes in the field, turns up the dirt, gets it ready to put seeds in. And so the clown's doing that job, but in my mind, he's wearing his big floppy shoes and his funny nose, and he's got a crazy wig on. So it's kind of silly to see him do like a farmer's job in the picture in my head. Then we're going to answer just 3 questions about that. So number 1 says, where is the brown cow? I'm going to think way back to the beginning about how I pictured this story and where I pictured the brown cow. And I'm going to write it on the line. I might even be able to find some of the words I need near the top. I can reread that top sentence, or you can listen to Miss Camille read it again if you back up the video. And I think I'm going to find the answer to where is the brown cow. Number 2, who, so it's got to be a character is going to be the answer. Who locked the cow in the tower? Well, let's think about who locked the cow up. And it says that also near the beginning of the sentence. That was kind of, or the story is kind of how they had set that up. So if you need to know how to spell those words, I'm picturing my imagining in my mind again. I think I know who locked her up. I've got a good idea. I'm going to look for that word in here so I can write it on the line. Question 3. I'm so backwards here. Question 3. What must the clown do now? And so that's asking about the end of the story, the end of the passage. What must the clown do now? And again, this word, I'll give you a hint. This word must is also in the story. If you can find that matching word must, it's going to point to the answer to the question, what must the clown do now? So that is your ELA. Okay, whoops. Social studies, we'll talk about this social studies assignment very quickly as well. If you're on the social studies assignment, directions. Pick one item from the choice board per week to complete. It says learning outcomes. This is what they want you to know. Students will understand how their needs and wants are different and how each is met. Task. You pick one each week. You could pick both. You could probably do both. And you're going to do them on a separate sheet of paper. I'll read you both boxes. You only have to pick one. Box 1, right here. Number 1, it says, make a list of things your family needs to survive. Remember, these are things, if you didn't have them, you would not be able to survive. Needs. Draw and label a picture of each next to the items on your list. So you're going to try to write as many things as you can think of. But remember, it's things that you need. Do I really need chocolate ice cream? Oh, I really, really, really want it. But probably I'd be okay if I didn't have it. So it's not really a need. You're going to make a list of things your family needs. You're going to draw and label a picture. We love labeling. Be sure to color and make it look nice. Do your very best on this. So that's choice 1. Choice 2, make a list of some items your family wants. Oh, I'm feeling chocolate ice cream going on this list. Next to each item, draw and color. Make them pretty. So you're just wanting to do your very best, show your very best. If it was me, I would get a separate sheet of paper and I would either choose one list and, like they said, and do as many things on my list as I can think of, draw and label, or I might get a separate piece of paper, fold it in half, not this piece because obviously there's stuff on it, but fold it in half hot dog style, the long way, like this, whoop, and then open it up and do my needs on one side and my wants on the other because I think it would be fun to compare those. The next part of your packet, oh, this llama is for you first graders. The next part of your packet is the fine arts section, and I can read you the directions, but I will tell you that Miss Camille's, I'm not going to do too much explaining because this is not my expertise. General music, the next part says general music. Directions, choose a song that the student is easily familiar, like a popular song, an oldie, or even a nursery rhyme. Okay, so you're going to think of a song that you're really familiar with. Look up the lyrics, make sure they are appropriate. So this is kind of a little note to your parents. So you could look those up on a phone or a tablet or this computer, or maybe if it's a nursery rhyme, you can find it in a book. Come up with a new topic on which to focus the song. So you don't want to do the same thing that the song's going to talk about. You want to talk about something new, but you kind of want to focus. You're not just going to talk about whatever. You're going to say, I'm going to talk about shoes or soup or bears or whatever, but you're going to choose one thing. Recreate the lyrics to the chorus. The chorus is the most popular part of the song that is repeated many times. Try to use the number of syllables in each phrase as a guide. So that means you kind of want the rhythm of the song or the rhythm of the rhyme or the rhythm of the poem to sound and feel the same, but you're going to make up your own words. Use the chart below to document. So here's what you're going to write. You're going to write, here's what it said before. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Let's see what Miss Camille can make up for that one. This is where you write the original lyrics. And then in this box, you're going to document your new lyrics. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet. Maybe if I want to do a song about, gosh, this is really tough to do on the spot. I know you're going to think about something that you really love and it's going to be easier. How about cats? Okay, so I'd start with Little Miss Muffet, and maybe I would say, June is a gray cat. Oh. Little Miss Muffet, June is a gray cat. It has the same syllables, so I can put it to the same rhythm. Little Miss Muffet, June is a gray cat. Okay, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet. June is a gray cat who wore a gray hat. It's not super, but I'm just getting started. I can rearrange it as many times as I want. So that's what you're doing. You're replacing the original with new lyrics of your own. The funnest, most wonderful part, the last direction says sing it together with others. So you can get your whole family, teach them the rhythm of your new song, and sing it together. It does have an example here for you that I'll let you read with me. Ready? Watch me whip. Watch me nay-nay. Raise your hand if you recognize this song. Watch me whip, whip. Watch me nay-nay. Ah, yeah, you guys all know this one. So here's the new lyrics that they made up there. See if you can tell me what the theme is. See me jump. Watch me jump rope. See me jump in. Watch me jump rope. What did they talk about? They focused on jumping rope. So they changed all the words to go along with jumping rope. Those are the directions for music. It's right here on the top. Here's where you should write your answers at the bottom of this page. Okay, this is art. Just holding it up there for a second in case you're skipping through the video. That's art. Directions. Draw people using squiggly lines to create a composition that shows movement. And there's a link there. I can't, I'll try to copy and post that link, but right now, if you're just looking at your page, you might have to just take the time to type all of those letters into your computer. Task, using any kind of paper, different colored crayons, markers, pencils. Use squiggly lines to draw people, show them moving in various poses. And then you can go through when you're finished or you think you're finished and say, how do I know if my work is good? Did you draw more than 3 people? Are they in motion? Did you estimate the arms, legs, and head sizes and lengths? If you did all of those things, then you could say, okay, I think I'm satisfied with my work. If you did not do all of those things, then you might want to go back and add, change, or correct something so that you know you did your very best work. Okay, after that fine arts page, for right now, I think that's all that we have. So hopefully this is helpful, that you have all of these directions, and first graders, you are going to rock. You should have all the directions to do your very first packet. Can't wait to see you soon. Bye.